We are live. How is everybody doing on this beautiful Thursday market hours? Um, let's take a peek at the market. We can see it's going up. Thank you guys for taking it up while I was dropping the kids off at school. Mission accomplished. So the key here today, right? Like we talked about this spike, and we'll go over Globex real quick first. Actually, we saw this settle down here on the low. Um, I need my pen to talk, guys. Like it's like having my pen out is like talking with my hands almost. I need it. Welcome everyone on YouTube, everyone on Twitch, everyone on Facebook, because it's streaming on Facebook now until it get clapped on Facebook because Facebook just claps people all the time. I guess I got a message already from them about music I played the other day. But yeah, so settles way down here. We saw it kind of bounce around, but pretty much inventory overnight was 100% net long. We saw the open here, had a little bit of a correction, came right down to the base of that spike. We talk about how the spike can either act as support if we open above or resistance if we open below. It happened to act as support. If you read the trade view, I talked about not getting long until we got above the 70 and held above the 70. Well, that D low, that was your ticket there. You know, you let it establish itself above, it established itself above, and now it's off to the races here. So early on in the market, we saw some kind of back and forth. There was a lot of buying in the overall market, but not really in the weighted sectors. And now we're starting to see some of these weighted sectors start to get some gas. The reason, and it's real tough to explain over text. Morning, Izzy. It's tough to explain over text through the trade view, but the reason I didn't want to get long until we established over that 70 was because this area yesterday when we were inside of it was just ugly, right? It was just chopped. They were just selling it right here. No one was buying it up above the or below the 200. They were just blop 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 slapping it down, right? So same thing I expected today, and it kind of was, right? We kind of did have this B and C period were pretty choppy if you were watching them. And the D period opened up, people or buyers waiting right here. We see it only traded 33 on that top tick, and now we're on our way up, right? Heading for to see if we can establish ourselves in this prior day's value area, but the target here is that prior day high 93.75 first. Bitcoin had a weird move today on the open too. If you guys were watching Bitcoin, it did one of these. It like took the stops on both sides, and now we're gassing. And remember, we've been talking about this for a while. Above this 43, if we're able to establish above this 43,000, which is what we're doing right now, we've got room here, right? We've got some space, and this is getting out of that level. Let me make this bigger so we can see it. It's getting to that point where if we can, that 45,000, break that, it should be easy ride to 48. But above 43 is good for this market to get this continuation back to the upside. So it's looking good. I actually got long yesterday when we started to break out, and then just had to kind of sit, but haven't really taken much heat in this long Bitcoin trade. See the market starting to get some volume up here at the top too. And this is what I talked about in the report. This is what we wanted to see buyers' strength, right? We wanted to see them respond after getting smacked down one time, right? They were up 7 days or 6 days in a row. They got smacked around a little bit yesterday. Now we're opening up with a big set of single prints, so careful here. I could see us coming back down to that maybe 86.50 level. But really, as long as I've moved from 70 up to 77, so that's going to be my line in the sand now. As long as we can stay above 77, I know it would close the distribution, of course, but that's where I like the longs from still. Morning, Trin. Morning, Adam. Almost at that prior day high. I know this seems like it doesn't line up, but remember these are on 2 tick increments. So this is kind of what I was talking about. And this kind of shows us here. We saw a little bit of strength, but then we didn't see. So these bars right here, they represent the weighted sectors, right? And this is the overall market. And you could see the overall market was outpacing until about 11 o'clock. We started to see real strength, and now we're starting to see these weighted sectors catch up with the rest of the market and starting to turn up. You could see Apple back up to 1%. Nvidia's up 8%, right? Nvidia's been the leader here, taking us up. We've talked about strength in Nvidia. They had weakness yesterday, the market came down. They've got strength today, the market's going up. One correlation, another correlation that we've been talking about is oil. Yesterday, if this ever loads, yesterday we can see oil went up. Today, oil's going down. Market's going up a little bit, went down a little bit yesterday. So there's big correlation here. The VIX is starting to head down towards our longer term trend line all the way back from November 4th. It's dating. So pretty significant. The VIX gets underneath of that 20 range. We can start clicking our TPOs back to 1 price point per increment. You can see all the weighted sectors here. And then we'll just look at the market watch so we can see the heat map real quick. Right, a lot more green than yesterday, except Amazon. Nothing really too insane, but we're getting buying pretty much all over here, right? Couple losers right here. Intuit, Costco, or Cisco, I mean, PayPal. Amazon's not really doing too great, but they're not down by much. 0.5%. They're just removed. So those are stocks that are probably up over 1% right there. Or up, they were up 1%, now they're not. Good morning, Steve. What's up, man? Glad to have you in the house. Play too loud. Can we look at ETH? Of course, man. Of course. We had been talking about. Oh, damn it. Been talking about ETH, getting ready for this breakout. When you look on the daily, you could really see this thing setting up nice. It played nice off of our trend line, and then I mean it's setting up to really make a move. And this is a daily chart, right? So it's a little bit different, but it's setting up to make a move. You have all these days here where there's guaranteed stops lined up at the end of these days, people just shorting and holding the days. You can see them moving down. So above those levels should get some gas back up into our upper balance zone that we've been tracking, right? Probably 4,000. That looks like the target here. I mean, 3,500, pretty round number, but that 4K number looks good. There's some news today about Russia saying that they'll like deal and wheel their energy that Europe is about to need here pretty soon in Bitcoin. So that could be, that could be a big gasser for Bitcoin if Russia is going to start, one of the biggest countries, right, is going to start dealing in crypto. That could be a catalyst to take take crypto back up. If we take a peek at crypto just for the day, we can see besides Luna, pretty much everything is actually looking pretty decent. And we've been kind of seeing this, right? This diversion between Luna and Bitcoin. Typically, when because Luna's been kind of killing it, when Luna starts to come down, we start to see Bitcoin start to run up a little bit here. And I'm not saying it's going to go to 4,000 today, right? I'm just saying that's kind of what it's setting up for. That's more of a long-term analysis. But if we're looking for just like today, it seems like we're kind of late. There'll be some more opportunity. Level. Like a 31.5. $5.80. 35.80. Yeah, so it's a little bit late to kind of jump on board now, but I mean, there's not much in the way up until this 31.50 level. That's where I could kind of see us start to slow, but buyers keep stepping up. Oh, you're looking to ride the retrace? I mean, wait to see when it gets up to this 31.50. If there's a big reaction of sellers, you could probably catch it back down. If it's not going to break out. But I could see it definitely popping up to this 31.50, coming back and just holding, in this range. I mean, really, now that it's above 3,000, it really should try to hold 3,000. So even if it comes back down, holds, and then starts to target those highs, but it really should hold that 3,000 level around it, right? Not to the tick, of course, but and then monitor that trend line that's coming off the bottom. If it does pull back, right? That would kind of pull us back right into that 3,000 and kind of keep grinding this move up. I just want to look for divergence, see if we got any divergence, but everything looks pretty straight for me. Morning, Caesar. Morning, Tommy. The Madhouse. This is like the one of the latest times I've taken my kids to school, and it was just, I mean, chaos. Because normally I take them, drop them off a little bit early, play with their friends or whatever. But daughter was braiding her hair this morning, so it took a little bit longer. And I mean, Madhouse over there. So let's see if we can take this high here. Look for some volume. 62 contracts traded on that top tick. If we keep getting volume up here, and it kind of looks like we are, you're just gonna see that top tick start to grow, and it'll look to take out that prior day high. And then that target up will be that POC at 44.99. All right, that's a VPOC or yeah, VPOC, Virgin Point of Control. And then the 4,500 being right above that, right? So we could expect some selling and a little bit of chop up here. But if we get accepted inside this previous day's value, there's a good opportunity to trade up there. 45.05. And then remember, we still have that spike base or the spike from that previous day that should act and probably will act as a bit of resistance. A lot of good books getting tossed around this morning in the Discord too. And if you're not in the Discord, scroll down. There's a Discord link down there somewhere. It should be working because I updated it. And join the Discord. Introduce yourself. Get to know everybody. Right. There's a guy in there named Lincoln. He types in all caps. Don't get alarmed. It's just that he can't read unless it's in all caps. So it's got to be in all caps. Um, Low Happy Mountain, what's up, man? Yeah, the whole point here is to get on there or get in the community, share information, and you know, grow together. Watch that top tick here, guys. See if we can go in there. Watch that 44.99. That's my target up here, right? In some buying. Hmm. 100 contracts traded on that top tick right there. So there's some interest up here. What's interesting too today, let me pull this over real quick. You can see the strength is pretty much everywhere, all in the market, right? Um, and then when we look at PLT, PLT's coming up, and then look at PNX, uh, still up on the high, right? I mean, it's a red day for TNX, but still not making really much any retracement. I remember well back when TNX was getting up to like 1.75 and people were freaking out about the market crashing, and now it's well over 2, and the market hasn't crashed yet. So. And then let's look at we wanted to look at the K. This is kind of what we talked about. If these start to chill out, and they've been trading sideways the past couple of days, if they start to chill out, there's a good opportunity for the market to go up. But if this thing keeps going down, basically the market's ignoring it, and uh, it's a divergence there. Okay, let's try that. Almost at that 99. We hit that VPOC right to the tick. A little bit of selling. 299 contracts traded up there. Actually 17 on the very top tick, but 212 on that up there. So there's still some interest growing here. Opportunity. That 4,500 is pretty easily noticed, and so you could get a lot of people trying to sell from there. This was a high volume area from last time, and if you remember, when we look at this, when that sell-off did occur kind of after hours, and it's not really showing it because there's Globex, this is right where it puked from. It will actually it really kind of puked from the 60 level, but this is where it kind of all started because it spiked up right before the market closed, and then the market closed, and the settle was down here somewhere around the 4,500, and then it just started to fade off. So that's kind of letting us know this is more of a dangerous spot to be getting long, because last time we were up here, we didn't find enough buyers. We tried, we peaked up, but didn't find them. But it's funny, it's really funny if you guys watch YouTube at all. You still have the trading room? Yeah, we're in there right now, bro. Jump in. Um, it's it's free 99. I'm not charging any. Just join the Discord. It's a different link down on the bottom. So the Discord is it's a blue, or if not blue, it's green. It's the other. We have two logos, two TradeVets logos, and so it looks like this. Um, this called TPO Bootcamp. But eventually, that's going to be where we migrate everything to. It's just a matter of time. I'm just trying to give people the opportunity, because I know people are busy, so I don't want to just close out of their Discord and everyone's like, what the fuck happened? When we say acceptance, what do you mean by that? Increasing volume or more time? Both. Both, Susan. Both. So when we say, so like we're inside this previous day's value and we're above this previous high, right? And so the more time that we spend up here, right? And as long as we keep seeing volume increase, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be as much as it was in the open, right? We're later in the session, but as long as we keep seeing this volume increase that we're seeing, there's good odds that we trade up at least to the 4,500 for sure, but to the top of previous value, which is about 4,505, right? And that's, I mean, you could see the settle, I think, was there, and then the last trade ended up being down here somewhere. But this spike could act as a bit of resistance as well, because this is telling us that late in the day, price tried to auction higher and wasn't able to get accepted, rejected, and then the next day it actually traded down. And then today we kind of have the same thing, but on the opposite side, we had that spike to the low. It came right down to the spike base, acted as support. I didn't take any trades in here, guys. I really don't like this area. I know my dad posted a trade from inside here. Not for me, but I mean he nailed it. I ended up getting long from the 70, but you know, that's my trade plan. So I like to, I even actually this morning I even I put a buy limit order, and then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I canceled it, and I was like, I just need to be patient because who knows what's gonna happen in here, right? It could have easily just fed down too. So I waited, stayed patient, waited for it to build some value, and then took some longs. And then you guys did the rest of the work for me. When I went to go grab my kids, I asked, can you guys take this thing up for me while I'm gone? And you guys did. So thank you. I don't know if you guys could hear the clapping, but I was clapping. But yeah, we're just looking for acceptance above yesterday's range, right? And that's kind of what we're seeing here now. We've got single prints down here in the D period, and then we've got what, about 12 and a half minutes until the next session opens up, or the next TPO opens up. So looking like if it were to open here, we'd open up on even more single prints. So and I'm gonna have to create new I'm gonna have to write my own TPO 6-part study guide, I think, too, because I've been seeing this a lot. It's actually easier to see. Right, it kind of looks like a lightning bolt, right? And you see this a lot. I've been seeing it a lot lately, where we have this open and it kind of just shoots down, comes back up to where it was at. B period comes down or C period comes down, and then boom, we kind of mark it back up. And you kind of saw it here too, just a longer version of it. We can call it like Odin's lightning bolt or something cool. People love names of stuff, like when you name stuff, you know what I mean? Like Haikinashi. You know what's funny? So there's a guy that gets all the credit. What's his name? This guy's his name. What's the guy that wrote the book? Steve Neeson, right? He gets all this credit for these Japanese candlestick charting techniques, right? He went to Japan and learned all these charting techniques and stuff, and then he wrote a book and he gets all the credit. And you know, it what's interesting to me is like what's the translation like? You know what I mean? When you think about things when they get translated into different languages, what's the fall off? Is there any? Right? Did he market it away? I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the guy because obviously, you know, he knows what he's doing, but did he did he change some stuff, right, to make it more marketable? That's that would make sense to me. He did something like, but then it wouldn't just wouldn't be the pure, be pure like we talked about. We're back inside yesterday's range here. Still got about 10 minutes, 9 minutes till this next session opens up. So, but today is definitely not one of those, or at least right now, is not a spot that I would be looking to take a short. Right, we've got these single prints below. The momentum's obviously to the upside, pretty clearly. And if you're not in a trade right here, the best thing you can do for yourself is be patient. We are seeing a little bit of selling in the market, something I haven't really seen before. You can see there's a little gap in the tick. So there's a big jump on selling right there, which is probably what pulled the market back down to this volume here. But the market's starting to balance itself out. It's starting to trade, with the weighted sectors. They're trying to catch up. Now the big thing will be to pay attention to is this. So if we start to see, where's XLE? So XLE is up, everything's up today for the most part, but if we start to see XLE climb and XLK start to drop and XLU stay up, start to XLK start to drop and XLE and XLU start to gain, that's going to put us into the same rotation that we saw yesterday, where markets started off pretty decent. There was some buying in the tech, and then all of a sudden tech just said, "Oh, buy," and gave up. Right? We saw it big time in Tesla yesterday. You can see Tesla went up 5% and then back down. Ended up finishing green yesterday, but I mean that's a pretty big swing intraday, and just to give it all back, you know what I mean? And we're still inside yesterday's range on Tesla here. Oil's coming down right here too. If oil breaks down here underneath of the 112 level, could get a little spill session here for oil. And that's really what's gonna need to happen to kind of save the market, honestly. And you guys know I've had like a bearish tone lately, and it's not gonna probably go anywhere um until the market works itself out. Until we figure out what we're actually gonna do with this divergence that's kind of going on in between all these sectors. And remember, there's nothing wrong with having a bias. It's just the problem is not being able to identify your bias. That's the biggest issue. Or bias. I don't mean bias. What the fuck's going on? Oh, there. Oh my god. And also remember that we had, well, I guess we kind of already fixed all those mechanical references, but if we look back on this, we don't really have any of those mechanical references. Really, just the resistance is going to be that spike base. And that probably, I mean, you can see there's a big volume here, this 21,000 kind of out of place up there. So 4506 might be a bit of resistance also. These crypto face? Crypto face? Oh, if it if it was the guy who created the Japanese candlesticks, that'd be fun. I mean, it's kind of the same situation. He just combined a bunch of indicators together and then called them market cipher and then sold them as genius, right? Genius marketing. You can't knock that, right? You just can't, much as you might want to. 7 total lots. That's pretty good. Link. Oh, you said links up all gas, no brakes? Is it with a C? It is. Yes. I used to trade Link a lot actually when it was back when it was moving a lot. I haven't taken a peek at it in a while. Oh, my dad, yeah, he posted, yeah, he's done for the day. Yeah, 85 points on 7 lots, pretty damn good. Been doing really good. Good. But I mean, my dad's been putting in fucking work, dude. He read probably uh in the past like month, or actually since the beginning of this month, he's probably read like 4 or 5 books. And I mean, that was, once you identify your biggest struggle, and for him, it happened to be the way that he was looking at the market. And then once he switched to the MES and started, putting some of these books and building some of these habits, he's just been on fire, right? Now the biggest thing is just making sure that you don't get ahead of yourself and start, thinking that you're unbeatable. Remember, like I've told you guys, I had one of my biggest days in the market. This was in 2021, in February or in January. One of my biggest months really was followed by one of my worst months, which was February 2021. Definitely my worst day ever. And it was because I was just riding onto like a super high where I was just nailing everything. The market was doing exactly what I asked it to do, and I just kind of was like, oh, I can predict the future. And then the market quickly reminded me in a very strong way, like, hey, buddy, nobody can predict the future. So go ahead and sit that ass down and pay attention. Watch for value. But does that make sense, Caesar or Cesar? I can't. I had a buddy named Cesar when I was a kid, and so it's like so. But I think his was EE. Here's a Caesar. I'll get it eventually. But does that make sense? Like how we want to spend time, and we are spending time and getting volume above yesterday's high still. We got a new session opening up in about 45 seconds. So we'll see if there's a triple distribution, and if there's a third distribution, that's pretty much giving us a sign, and especially if it doesn't close, that today could end up being a trend day. And then that's one of those days that you want to look out, especially if we get above this 45 14 level, because these are going to be our targets up above that resistance. And then really above that, that 45, what level was I looking at? That top of the range, 45.86 is the top of our 2 week balance. So there's F. So it closes the distribution. If you guys are watching on Twitch or Facebook and want to, well, if you're on Twitch, you can comment, but if you're watching on Facebook and you can't comment on the video, head over to YouTube, type in The Trade Vets, and you'll find the YouTube page, and then you can comment on there. If you head over to Twitch, it'll be under Bitcoin Brad TTV, The Trade Vets. Yeah, my dad also gets up like at I mean he's up at like 5 o'clock in the morning too, and then he's just like fires his computer on and just fucking gets on the treadmill and just stares at the market while he's walking. Above this 94 quarter, you could see a little bit of stops start to come out. People start to short cover, and that could take us back up to that 44.99 again, or 44. What do we count? 44.9850 last time. It was pretty thin on that way up too. So remember, if that E low breaks, there's probably going to be a pretty decent size retracement. But I mean, we're pretty much one time framing up. I don't even know if I would count this C low as a break of one time framing. One tick doesn't really do it for me. So let's look if we get an early sensation of one time framing, which there it is. Now the market can become very rotational. Seeing a lot of selling down here on the low. But we'll look for them to auction back down. A lot of volume up here. So there's interest up here, and that 4,500 is just right there. So there's interest up here. We just have to kind of wait to see where these buyers are gonna start to come back to the market. They liquidated there, taking some profits, and we're seeing, what looks like some sellers kind of get trapped down here, trying to ride momentum late or trying to call the top. Oh, 11 lots total. So Like some absorption here from sellers. Like sellers are trying to move down and hold price lower here. Real thin right here though. That move down was pretty thin. It looked just like a pure liquidation. Didn't really look like big selling until we got down to the low, and then it kind of looks like late momentum sellers are trying to pour in down here. Not that they can't break the low, but just it's looking like they're having trouble, right? So if there was a decent amount of supply, you would figure that they would just take this low quickly, but for some reason they're just not doing it. So, or like take the price lower. The volume still, we saw a nice increase, but in that last session, once we got towards the top, we saw a decrease of volume, right? It really started to die out, but the initial move up had good volume to the upside. Info's quicker on Twitch. Yeah. That's why I always try to send people over to Twitch, because Twitch is almost instant. There's really no delay. I've tried to put the refresh rate on YouTube as fast as possible, and it's supposed to not have a delay. Guys, above this 88 quarter, look for that 90, and then if it gets above that 90, it'll probably trade back up to like that range that it was in, that 93 to like 90. But I mean, someone's trying to hold it here at this 88 level, it looks like, on the down. But the buying looks pretty good. The selling looks weak as fuck. But it could just be, I mean, you could have, this is just how it looks on the DOM. It doesn't necessarily say if it's buyers or sellers. Just trade bid. Excuse me, just that it trades on the bid or the ask. That's it. And we're still seeing somebody hold on the 88 here. So above that, this is kind of weird. Just sitting here on the 88, like over and over and over. Look at trading on both sides on the 80. The European closes in 30 minutes ish, 22 minutes. There's some selling right there. So they were trying to buy through it, couldn't get above that 88. That's a level to mark. But we don't want to be getting any longs until we get above that 88 level, because that's where the seller's at. And contracts right there. Starting to see an increase in selling here, actually. Like the sellers are moving down, trying to sell this thing in. I mean, it's a pretty decent sized battle here. We're in like a 2 point range just back and forth, but really we just have to stay patient, look for that above that 88. I'm not really a huge fan of shorting way down into these single prints, to be honest. Nvidia is still looking strong. We can see big tech is kind of consolidating, or some of our bigger names are kind of consolidating here too. So that huge pump, probably a little bit of profit taking, consolidation, trading sideways here. Tesla go negative? Okay, another one. Another one. This thing came right up to that 44.85 level on Bitcoin. Turned around.
I was looking at that line a while ago. I'm like, did he draw that after?
I drew this line like 4 days ago, or like a while ago when we
He
were.
must have been marking the top or something.
Uh,
It's like right on the end of that candle.
yeah, I drew these lines when we were down here as levels to watch on the way up. Yeah, I mean it was just based off of this prior balance over here. So you can see there was one point that actually saw that sell off, but I mean it was just kind of a resistance every time the market came up to there, every time the market came up to there, market came up to there, it sold off. So that was that level that we wanted to watch just in case. Because I don't want to get trapped in this long either. Because I'm in a long for Bitcoin right now. I want to sit through a retrace all the way back down to 43K if it's not going to just do what I'm asking. And I've been asking politely to just go to 48,000 for like a couple of weeks now. Elon's just been pretty busy lately. Yeah, it says Russia will allow friendly countries to pay for natural gas in Bitcoin. That's kind of big news, to be honest with you. For me it is. I know I said I
You
was.
said Russia?
Yeah,
They
Russia.
accept Bitcoin?
They're accepting Bitcoin for like natural gases and like materials, things
Wow.
that the EU is gonna struggle with going forward most likely, unless this conflict and these sanctions start to get lifted. But the US just put new sanctions on Russia this morning.
Man, that's like accepting Bitcoin for like a huge part of your GDP or something. I mean, that's
Right.
pretty cool.
Yeah, well that's the only thing
I mean, I don't know
is.
if they're going to be holding it or selling it off. I mean, I guess it could potentially have some selling pressure or something. I don't know. I guess if that's all they have to do transactions with other people, then they're going to have to hold
Right.
it.
Exactly. And that's pretty much what I'm looking at too, is that they're looking at it as, okay, this is the we tried to use the ruble didn't work, we got sanctioned, so no UN countries can use the ruble. And if we look like uh look at this UN map here. Let me try to find a good one. I keep finding like a map with like a ton of flags, but I can't find the one that we want to see really. Uh, what the fuck? I can't find. Oh, here we go. Here's one of the members of the European Union. Can't really see. Oh. So a lot of these countries, I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, Ukraine is this big ass country right here, and this is Belarus right here, but and then Russia. But you can see, I mean, that the UN countries kind of line the Russian border up here, and Russia provides a lot of energy and just a lot of things to a lot of these countries, and a lot of these countries don't have access, especially um, inside here. They don't really have a lot of space to be growing a lot of stuff. Especially Germany's really developed, France is really developed. Um, you know, you've been there, everything. You don't see a lot of like farms and shit like that. So they rely on Russia for a lot of their imports. And if they can't get any of these imports because Russia has said, hey, you guys can have some of our stuff, but you have to buy it in rubles, and they can't use rubles. Okay. Love you. If they can't use rubles because they're sanctioned by the UN, it puts them in kind of a pickle, you know, kind of tough. So the market bounced up a little bit right there, but couldn't get back to that 88, right? We're just eyes on that 88 level as this thing starts to slowly trickle in and try to fill this lower distribution. That's disappear from the Twitch. Just so we have some targets above. Like a little bit of short covering down here. People have been short, but they a little bit of covering right there. Doesn't look like really any strength in the buying. Sellers moving back down here too. Trying at least. If they are able to break this F low here, their target's going to be probably 81, is like the Globex high. And it happens to be the value area high from the previous day. And then the second target for them would be to close that lower distribution, probably 77 quarter of the half back. But it looks like shorts are covering here too, so if we can get above this 88. Above the 88, we should see a nice little pop here. There's one tick above. Sorry. Pop that we're looking. They're still trying to hold the 88. Hold on to it for now. Yeah, so I mean that little pop just kind of looks like short covering, but if you can get some buyers and then some more capitulation, there's still some people selling the 88. But if they start to back off, this thing should just pop up, probably to 90, and then up again to well, probably 93.75 is that prior day high. That's where I could see some more people trying to get short from if they give up this 88 level. Back at the 88, we've seen this level be a very interesting level again today, or I mean, well, again, I guess to intraday today, not like it was yesterday or anything, but just an interesting level. If they give it up, they're trying to hold it their darndest. It looks like got some pretty thin volume right here. Thing. It is. That's weird. I was looking at my DOM. It's weird. It's like not showing me. If you look at it, it's not showing like 637 contracts isn't lining up with what's going on here, and this thing's supposed to start at 9:30, so I don't understand. I'm gonna have to mess with that thing today. But what is yours, TJ? Do you have yours up?
Yeah, you're talking about how many contracts traded?
Yeah, on the 89. What do you got on the DOM?
Let's see. 89, I got, is it the number in white, like the negative 21?
On the far left, the very far left.
Yeah, 44.89, negative 24 right now, I think.
No, this number right here, where the profile's at.
Oh, mine don't have that.
Hmm. Good. I sent it to you.
Yeah, mine's got the everything other than that.
It's an overlay. I mean, it shouldn't be though. If it's getting overlaid from somewhere
I
else.
did notice on my volume profile, um, the numbers aren't my numbers and your numbers aren't the same. But I didn't know if it was because I'm on like Sim or
It's
something.
it's just because of the data. As long as they're close, it's not. It's not. I mean, if there was like a huge divergence, whereas like mine said 5,000 and yours said 500, then we could start to be worried. But it's just because of the data provider. So the way that they're, um, you know, counting all the ticks and stuff. I mean, it should be exactly the same, but I've noticed um, a couple divergences from like CQG, from uh Rhythmic, when I had Rhythmic, from Kinetic. Um, there's just been divergences between those three. I had another data feed for a little bit, but I hated it, so I canceled it. All done. But yeah, I mean, something like that, as long as it's not like a huge divergence, if it's just a couple of contracts, there's nothing to fear there.
Nice. Yeah, it feels so good to have Sierra charts set up and being able to see stuff. Gosh. Every time you would end the stream, like I'd always find myself, I'm like, man, if I only had Brad's chart, like I was looking at this level or whatever, because I'm just used to using TradingView.
I mean, I could leave this up all day, honestly. You should have just said something. I would leave it up all day. It's always up. It's just I'm not going to be talking on the stream. It'll just be up.
Yeah, no, you're good. No, I got it up now. I just would always find myself wishing that I had the TPO letters, or like, something that the TPO tracked that I couldn't track on TradingView or whatever. So
Right. Yeah,
it's
I
nice
get
to
that.
have it.
That makes Where's this at? Gary, Indiana? A hot real estate. Yeah. Gary, Indiana is like up by the water, isn't it? Anybody from Indiana in here? So that seller's still sitting up there, right? We got like 2 ticks above that 88 that time and then just pushed back down. It's one of the worst cities in America. Yeah, I mean, that's why the real estate's so cheap, but it's easy to flip. Cheap real estate. Like shitty ass houses that you can buy and then just clean them, and you don't even have to do any inside work, just clean them inside. The volume's starting to get a little bit thinner down here, getting close back to that 77 level. Back inside yesterday's value, and then their target's probably going to be that 77 quarter level if they're able to close this distribution. I'm gonna try a long from right here, guys. Stop loss is right at the bottom of the F. I'm gonna try to take this thing back up to that 86, 88 level. Get some stretching on real quick. Sitting down a lot the past couple of days. Actually, my wife went on a pretty good walk yesterday, actually, a couple miles. Oh, I got yard work to do today. Everyone's most favorite day of the week. When I was a kid, I hated yard work and I hated uh like picking up dog crap. And so I always told myself when I become an adult, I'm not living anywhere with like a big piece of grass or um hang on, sorry. I'm trying to make sure I don't blow out this trade real quick. We're still going. Um that I wouldn't have anything like that until I had kids so they could do it. Uh,
Bro, I think I found those numbers on my DOM. They're like way off on the left, and they're like all scrunched up on top of each other. Is there a like I can go? I can change the y-axis, but is there a way to change the
uh,
x-axis on the
I'm
drawing?
not sure, to be honest with you. I'm not a pro at Sierra charts yet.
Okay.
Nothing like if it was Ninja Trader, I got you, but with Sierra charts, I'm
Yeah,
not
no
I'm not
worries.
up, not up to that level yet. And Ninja Trader just did this stupid ass shit too, which pisses me off. Now the chart settings look like this. I was just getting used to the other one. I mean, this is a lot nicer because it's a lot more organized. But I was
You're
just
talking about Sierra?
yeah, I was just getting used to
Yeah,
that other
no,
one.
all the tutorial videos that I just watched forever,
Yeah,
and then
worthless.
I updated it, and now it's changed. I'm like, oh great.
Yeah, damn it. And notice like because I think it's what time is it now? It's 9:30. Yeah, so the Europe's closed now, and we had that kind of push down on the Europe close. So if there was a bunch of buying during the end of the Europe session, and then they closed everything, right? We have decent excess on the top. It is kind of mechanical because I mean it literally ended right at that VPOC. So it seems pretty mechanical. We do have that kind of mechanical low on the C low as well too. So that you want to just keep eyes on. Down to the low here. So a decent little bounce right there. We caught a nice little fade. I covered it already, but they're showing up back here in this kind of this same spot. Little liquidation right there. And that's the thing with the fade. Like I said, I was looking for that 86, but once the market started to get slow, that's when you just have to just call it. I had my last lot just covered for break even. I had my last stop break even. Get back above. Or if we just continue this trajectory down, we're just gonna have to be patient. It's gonna get really rotational inside this level. That 77 quarter came right down. They're buying off of that, but that's mechanical, right? That's the current half back, and then we saw that the 77 level earlier become a very important level. That's where the initial impulse during D period was at, or was from this 77 level. So let's see if they buy this level again. Um, how to read TPO in a nutshell. The best, are you talking about the only trading tool you ever need, Andre? The only trading tool you ever need is your brain, right? The TPO is just, makes it makes it easier to organize the thoughts in your brain. Because that's really all it is, just organizing the auction, and you use your brain to decipher who's winning in the auction or what's happening in the auction. Not even who's winning, just what's happening. Still holding there, that 77 for now. There it goes. Back above.
Brad, I think I can see those numbers you were asking about earlier.
Oh, can you?
Yeah,
What?
ask
Yeah,
away.
89. What's it say at 80?
89. Mine stops at 88.50. It says 239 at 88.50. Is that the right number? For like a
88.50.
78 right now, it says 1282. Is that the wrong column?
It might be just, yeah, that might be the wrong column. I'll
realize
mess with this today and figure out. I feel like ours should be the same though, because I didn't change anything since I sent it yesterday.
I realized I had my DOM. I had my chart set to the study that you sent, but my DOM was still on. Like when you click on the DOM, you click on analysis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
At the bottom, mine was on clean chart instead of I have your study saved as like Brad's TPO, and I
Oh
didn't
okay.
double check.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to mess with it today and see what the deal is because it's kind of weird. 44.89, 637 at yours, Patrick. Okay, that's what mine is too. Mine's 637. It's weird though because there's no like I wonder where it's picking up this 637 from. Is what do we say? 88, 89. I mean, maybe is the last. I don't know because it's supposed to accumulate from 930, and there's obviously more contracts up here. Only 1200, but still, it's not. Oh, you know what it is? I know what it is. It's because it's on 2 ticks. That's why. I bet if I change it to 1 tick, it will show that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's why. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, makes sense. Thanks, Patrick. So I don't have to do anything. It was gonna drive me mental, so saved me a rabbit hole. So we're starting to see some short covering here. Remember, we're still watching that 88 level. Nice little bounce. I wish I would have held that long or tried that long again. It did look like they were kind of dying out, but I was a little bit scared just because that 77 level acted as a nice bounce earlier, but we're one time framing down now, and that kind of gives me the caution light. My brain. Wow. I had to let that cat out. You know what's funny is too, as a kid, I hated mowing the grass, but now as an adult, I actually don't mind it. It's kind of relaxing, put your headphones on, listen to some music or a book or something, and then
Yeah.
yeah, that gives you a chance to get away when you got a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I gotta mow the grass. Like, you mowed it yesterday, but like, well, it's fucking growing. Is Luis in here? Yeah, Luis, did you see that they got rid of the knees to elbows completely from the ACFT? Too many people in the military couldn't do it, which seems to be a common theme. And it seems to be like a skill that you would need. Like I feel like one of the tests on a combat fitness test should be climbing over a wall, carrying your full kit and your weapon and your body up and over a wall. That would make
Yeah, if you can't clear a 4 or 5 foot fence, you're in trouble.
yeah.
If you're over there somewhere.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't even in gear or anything. So the combat fitness test it's like a deadlift, a 300-pound deadlift for males, 210 for women, and then like hand release push-ups, which are actually harder than regular push-ups. And I'm pretty good at push-ups, and those hand release push-ups are still pretty hard. And then a medicine ball throw, like backwards over your head, and then a sprint drag carry, which is great. That's like one of my favorite events. And then it used to be you would grab on a pull-up bar, like hand over hand, like your hands facing opposite directions, right? And put together. I think you could have a total of like 6 inches in between your hands when you're grabbing the bar, and then you're supposed to hold low and then bring your knees up to your elbows, and that counts as 1 rep. But they got rid of it and replaced it with the plank, which I'm not against the plank at all, because um, the plank is a good test of core strength, better than sit-ups for sure. But I feel like the other one's more important tactically, and if they're going to call it a combat fitness test, probably be geared around combat. The thing is that there's some circle pegs in the army, but there's a lot of square pegs, and they're trying to fit everything into a circle hole, and it's just simply not going to work, right? And that's the greatest thing about our military is you have so many different type of people, so many different backgrounds, so many different upbringings, just such a diverse group of people. And that's honestly, I think, what makes American Army the greatest. And I can't really compare it to you know to other things that countries take pride in. I know England's big pride is their I don't know if it's the Air Force or their Navy, but their fighter jets are like some of the best fighter pilots in the world. That's what they're known for. Yeah, I don't get it either, Alex, to be honest with you. Get it. It doesn't make sense to me that they would lower standards. Basically, there was like back when I was in, there was like this. It's probably 2015. There was like this huge thing where everyone should be able to serve their country if they want to, and I just simply just don't agree with that. Well, actually, I take that back. I do agree with it, but it's in a certain capacity, right? Everyone felt like because they're born in America, they have the right to serve in the military, and it's not really like a right? It's an opportunity, but it's not necessarily a right to do it. And if you can't conform to the standards, they shouldn't change the standards for other people. But unfortunately, when you're in the military, you'll see the way the test is graded is different depending upon who's grading the test, right? When I was actually in AIT, which stands for Advanced Individual Training, down in San Antonio, when I was learning combat medic school, we were doing a PT test, and this is back when it was push-ups, 2 minutes of push-ups, 2 minutes of sit-ups, and then a 2 mile run. Well, I'm watching the kid in front of me do push-ups, and the lady that's grading him is just fucking counting everything, and his push-ups were shit. But she's counting them 1, 2, 3 because they have the clicker, and she's like, I could just see her fucking, you know, like she's just not even paying attention. She's just clicking it every time she sees a move. No, the only thing that was moving was his head. He's moving his head like up and down. Um, and not to sound offensive, I call them dick sucking push-ups because it looked like he was sucking a dick if the ground had a dick. And so I was like, well, fuck it, that's what I'm gonna do. And got up there, fucking did 125 push-ups in 2 minutes. And like, I mean, I wasn't even tired after that because they weren't good push-ups. They were just me just moving my shoulders and my head up and down, really fast for 2 minutes, and that was it. and she counted them all. So that's the thing, is like they do lower the standards, but not everyone is upholding the standards that's in the military, and those are the people that really get to me, because when you get in a leadership position and you start not upholding the standards, you should be taken out of that leadership position. Simple as that. And most of the time, the people that don't uphold the standard are the people that can't uphold the standard themselves. So it's just
It
like,
seems like you'd want a certain level of person around you. You know, if they're watching your back or whatever, they got to be able to. You know, if you're counting on them, you want them to at least be able to do some minimum standards. You know.
exactly, yeah. I mean, and it's the same thing for, I'm a huge advocate for law enforcement enforcing physical fitness tests at least once a year, because you know a being
5 years ago.
well, yeah, they passed it once during the police academy or to get their job, and that was it. That's why you see some of these cops and they're huge overweight, and it's like, bro, if I run away from you, you will not catch me. And if you didn't have that radio, I'd be gone scot free. So that's the thing, is like, I'm a big advocate for all law enforcement really to almost be forced to take jujitsu, or to like have like one day a week where they hire a jujitsu professional. Regardless, they don't even need to find a black belt. They could find a purple belt just to teach them the basics. And when they started to get to a wrestling match with a supposed criminal, everyone's innocent until proven guilty, they would do a lot better, and rely a lot less, as we see all these cops just fucking pulling their gun because they're in fight or flight mode. They don't know what to do, but they do know
Right.
that gun will win a fight, right? Unfortunately, they're shooting people sometimes off of nothing, but if they were trained better, that's why I think like a lot of law enforcement should have to be, go through like a basic training type thing, and then consistently, in the army we had to take a physical fitness test at least twice a year, a record physical fitness test, but we would probably take them once a month, but a record at least twice a year. And if you fail your record, you've got 2 months to get your shit together and pass the next record, and if not, well, then you're out. Sorry. This is just how it works. The back in the day, what would you say, Duper? We did a jump exchange with Russia paratroopers while in Bosnia in 1999 and blew the Russians' mind that everyone had a compass on their kit. I guess only officers learn land nav there. Well, yeah, that's true, Duper. A lot of other countries, like when it comes to enlisted folks, they don't do shit. Especially like, I mean, I've only worked really with like basic army was the Korean army, the ROK army. And they're treated, the enlisted folks are treated just like absolute shit. They have no anything. Yeah, and we treat them well, and it's just unfortunate that they don't get it doesn't carry over into like the civilian environment, because I think it could really help. And actually, one time I used that example when I was on recruiting duty. I was at a high school, and one of the kids was like, he's like talking about police brutality and stuff like that, and I told them, I'm like, yeah, it's unfortunate because they're undertrained, very very undertrained. And I was like, the key is like, who's the toughest guy in the class? And this football kid raised his hand. He's like, me. And I was like, right, what I want you to do is lay on the ground with your hands out, and I'll try to put your hands behind your back, and we'll see how long it takes. And then we'll reverse the situation, and we'll see how long it takes for you to get my hands behind my back. And you can even pick as many classmates as you want, and we'll see. Of course, he didn't take the challenge, but guaranteed, me knowing a pretty decent bit about jujitsu, and he was a pretty muscular kid, but he's a kid and he doesn't know what he's doing. He knows how to football, right? I was gonna just easily grab his arms, pull him behind his back, and he's gonna probably because he has no shoulder mobility either, because he just lifts heavy weights, and it doesn't do it the proper way, right? You got to start small and work your way up, and that just screws over a lot of kids because they they just don't know. But if the kids were going to try to get me, what they try to do is they go for the hand, right? Well, going for the hand is gonna if I'm holding my hands in close to my body and you try to grab my hand, well, guess what? Ripping that fucking hand is not gonna happen. You got to get underneath of my tricep or my bicep and pull it that way. That's what's going to move my hand. Grabbing my hand is not going to move it because you're grabbing my hand and I'm using my shoulder, my back, my bicep, my forearm, all of those muscles to hold it in. But if you attack the larger muscle, pull it out, when your arms become or get farther away from your body, they become weaker. And then boom, you just chicken wing and then turn their hand down and then, you know, I taught a lot of actual handcuffing classes. We worked with the El Paso Police Department when I was stationed in El Paso, teaching them a lot of handcuffing techniques. Shout out to Jeremy Malater if he's in here. I don't know if he's on, but he might be watching the stream. My buddy Jeremy, he's actually a professional MMA fighter, and he was a teacher with me for the Modern Army Combatives program, and we got to work. That's why I love watching live PD in El Paso because they don't mess around because they're trained. They really do train those officers down there. And I mean, El Paso's not an easy spot to be a police officer too, because there's a lot of violence down there in Juarez, like across the water. Sorry about the rant, guys. You guys got me going. All right, back to this 86 level. If they cover here and then start to get back above that 88 with some volume, that's when you might see a decent little paparuski. Whoever thought a participation trophy should be used. Yeah, I never. I even told my kids that they played soccer. Oh, euthanized. Oh, euthanized. There we go. You know I can't read. Don't be typing. You gotta break that up.
Get rid of that fucker.
I need it in yeah, I gotta break it up. I saw there's now 5 versions of TPO Bootcamp. Is there one version you think is better than the others? So those are just the 5 different classes, right? I think there's probably keys in all of them. The new one is gonna be better and it's gonna encompass everything, right? I've grown since then. Yeah, I can only read one letter at a time. But I can read one letter very well, you're right. That's good. These are the only letters I can read right here. That's why I have to listen to all these audiobooks. But yeah, Duber, I mean, everybody should have access to all of them, I think. And if you don't, I'll fix it today. But yeah, I would just check them out. I know in week 3, lesson 3, when I talked about market psychology and the trade plan, I think that was my favorite class for market psychology. But other than that, all the information is there. And really just coming and hanging out every day is the goal here, because we get to see it as it's going on. So that G high is pretty mechanical, right? Off that F half back. 88 is still the resistance, and you can see it right there in the volume, right? You can see how this absorption, we just couldn't get above it. The thing came up right to 88.50 and then just
Hey
we
Brad,
have.
you're on the price on the right where it says like open and then it has the dollar amount highlighted in yellow. Do you know how to add that?
You don't have it on your charts?
Uh-uh.
The fuck? Did you open up the workspace that I sent you?
Yeah, I did.
So
There's chart files and then there's study files, and I think unless you have both, it doesn't put everything on there.
oh, okay. Let me figure out how to do that. How do I send you the study files? Because you should have a chart that says like a TPO chart, and then you should have a cash chart, right? And then a DOM.
Yeah, those are all there.
So
Yeah, when you click like analysis at the top and you click on studies on the bottom right, you can hit save all and like put a name in there, and then it creates a file in your data folder, and then you can share that. So like any like
Studies. Okay, here we go. I see it. I will save it as. I'll save it as clean chart.
you could also have there might already be one called clean chart, just so you know.
Oh, there might actually there.
But like if you have different configurations, you can also swap between different setups really fast, like one click once you save them.
How do I send it to you now? Or how do I send the analysis? There we go. So saved it as indicators.
On the yeah, once you pull up like your file folder, it's under data, I think.
I don't. Oh, Harper Group. Market depth
It'll
data.
end with dot study collect instead of dot CHT.
Oh, okay. I see it. I see it. There it is. I'll post it in the Discord right now.
You are awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and so then just load this study onto. Well, let me paste it. What the fuck? File. There we go. Yeah, and then load that onto the cash chart that's in that, and then all of them, because I just overlaid all of them onto the other charts, because you can overlay it onto the DOM and then you can overlay it onto your TPO.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll try that.
There we go. It's coming back up to that 88. Watch this level here. Or watch for the reaction again, right? I mean, we got up to 88.50 last time and then just kind of got smacked back down. So just watch it here. The tempo on this move up was a little bit faster than the tempo on the move down, right? The move down kind of just bounced around and then liquidated, bounced around, then liquidated again. That G period after that low really moved up fast and it's kind of just been hanging out. And here we get another session with mechanical G high. Seller's still trying to hold here, it looks like. Hello? This is him. Yeah, I turned it in here in the city that I live in. Well, I did it over the phone. I mean, we did the packet over the phone. I'd have to like kind of like search through my email to figure out who exactly I talked to. Oh, it was someone from there, yeah, because they asked me like all the history and all that stuff before you guys contacted me. Okay. I do not think I do. No, I think I got rid of it because I thought that it was taken care of with the local people. Yes, sir, that is. Hmm. Okay, yeah, no problem. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Bye. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, I didn't mute. You guys got to hear me on the phone. Go back down to that 87, 88 level again. We had a nice little pop. That was just a release of all of the people that were stuck, or not stuck short, but that all the people that were shorting that 88 before. Nice little pop. Um, didn't make it up to that 93.75, which was our target there, but see how try to hold. That's kind of a sign of weakness right there. But I mean, more not really weakness, just more of a sign of that, more rotation is probably going to be the ticket for the rest of the day. The phone call. Hello? Yeah, that's fine. Just needs to get covered in his pump. Thank you. Still consolidating from most of the market here. Nvidia's still doing well. I'm watching Luna here, guys, because if Bitcoin doesn't start to keep going and Luna starts to really gas, and you can see Luna starting to get some volume, they've been diverging lately. So if Luna really starts to pass up Bitcoin, I'm probably going to cut my long position. Just wait.
Hey, Brad, just so you know, I downloaded that thing and I don't know, loaded some like weird bar chart, so it didn't work. Just so you know.
Yeah, damn it.
You can delete that if you need to, so nobody downloads it.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. It downloaded a bar chart.
Yeah, it kind of looked like that 30-minute cash chart that I seen one time.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a 30-minute cash chart.
Oh,
Yeah, and then it should have like the T2 high, T1 high value, like value area, half back open, value area low.
so it like replaces your TPO chart, or it's just like an extra window?
No, so what you do is you go over on your TPO. So after you open that window, you just minimize it. Like I don't have it open on my screen, I just have it minimized. And then you go over here and go to studies. And then down here, it says study price overlay. Click on this, click the settings, and then whatever chart that is, you find the chart, click it, and then pick the study that you want to overlay it from.
Oh, I got you. Okay, let me mess with that.
Yeah, and you have to do them all. Like you have to overlay all of those studies individually, which is annoying, but or you could just load that indicator set on your TPO, but it might change your TPO, I'm not sure.
Got it. Sweet, thank you.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess I already had all those levels marked on that cash chart from the other one. They're just not overlaid or whatever. So I guess I
Oh,
can
okay.
do that these thing.
Just over. Yeah, you just have to overlay them.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just kind of a pain, but it's worth it. H low is pretty mechanical. H high is pretty mechanical too, right to that D high. I know it's not really like a TPO like doctrine, I guess, but I tend to account these as mechanical levels. Only 4 contracts up there, but it's just very interesting that I mean it's just a very visual reference to sell off of, right? What the fuck is this? Let me look at some quick. Apple's doing some weird shit. They're working on a hardware subscription service for iPhones.
Hardware subscription.
Yeah. So like I don't know, maybe it would be like they give you the new phone, but you just pay rent phones forever. Yeah, you owning nothing, and you will be happy. There it is. Alex explained it better than I was gonna explain it. Yeah, so basically they're just gonna rent.
Using the
Yeah, they're just gonna rent their. You're just gonna have to pay rent on your phone. Back to this 87, 88 level. Let's see if it holds again. The last sell off was from this 77-ish level as well. That last level will not really sell off. I mean, it came down like 5 points, but this is where it came down from.
and Bitcoin ended up getting some more gas, huh?
Yeah, it is trying to at least. Let's see if we can get over this level here. There's not really a ton of resistance up here. I mean, maybe some of these round numbers is 44.4, but 45,000 looks like a solid target for this. Somebody said Russia's taking steps to ensure, or no, that they're taking steps to ensure that Russia can't sell bullion, the gold, because I guess they have a fat stack of gold. Russia does.
Yeah, they've been stacking that stuff for the last few years.
Yeah, but I can't get rid of it because nobody can deal with it. They want to sell it in rubles. It's just crazy, like how clapped they are. Like they just those sanctions are really just, and those sanctions are not just fucking them over. Like I said, it's Europe that's gonna suffer. A lot of these countries that don't produce their own power draw a lot of power from Russia, so prices are gonna go up. And if that starts to happen, well, guess what? America's a capitalist country, and these energy producers will start charging more here for energy and selling energy, overseas, or selling, uh, you know, multiple things overseas, and that could cause our prices to go up as well. Because they see the opportunity to make the money over there, then they will. We already see people, planting wheat with this whole wheat thing. People are trying to buy up land to just plant wheat on. The government took 5 points. Oh, 5. Oh, damn. We can see this 88 level is just acting as a bit of resistance here. Let's see if you get the release here, you want to target that previous day high. They should just run straight to it off this 88. If they don't, it's just, I mean, we'll be stuck in rotation probably for the rest of the session. Oh, basketball's back on today too, huh? You guys have issues to buy sunflower oil in Germany? Yeah, I mean, I think Germany is like one of the biggest importers of Russian natural gas, so like heat and stuff. I mean, luckily it's not winter right now, but actually I don't know the seasons over there. It's not winter for me. We are fucked. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that a lot of these European countries are fucked with, and it's because of the sanctions. And so it's kind of like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I just didn't want to say you guys are fucked, but since you said it, I'll agree. You know, it's unfortunate, but that's really like, that's how it looks like it's setting up. It really does. A lot of the buying right here is in the tech sectors. It looks like I'm looking at this, or in the heavier weighted sectors here. So just so watch this pop right here. If it gets a run, we should get going pretty decent. But it needs to attack that 93.75, honestly. Fucking blow it. I'm right back. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of. I mean, look at all the. You look at some of these things. If we just kind of scan through these real quick, look at corn. You know, it's just popped up pretty high and it's holding up here. It's pulling back a little bit today. Other one. What's that shit called? The soybean way up. DW is wheat way up. Right, pulled back a little bit, but I mean, just skied for a second, which was just insane. What's another one that they have? The oats futures. I mean, they've already kind of been going up. Not really a huge pop there. Rough rice is popping up. And rice might be a hot commodity. I think corn really is going to be a hot commodity. But here's the soybean oil. It's elevated. Anyway, and then natural gas, any natural gas, regular natural gas. Here it is. The natural gas futures getting quite the pop here. This is back last year, and then right now they're getting a pretty decent little pop. So, just I mean, not to try to scare anybody, but it's just something that you need to be aware of. And if prices start to go up around the world, they're gonna keep going up in the United States too. And the people that suffer from elevation or inflation is the middle class. And apparently the middle class is, if you make over like $80,000 or something. When I was a kid, I remember thinking, if I make $100,000 in a year, I'm rich, right? And now I'm looking at it like out here in the Bay Area, the poverty level. If you don't make $100,000, you can actually apply for like government assistance, which is sanity. Okay? So you see that little pop up the 88 and then just boom, right, rejection right back down. They need to get on the gas here and push this thing up. Having a tough go here though.
Man, if I could just get 2 or 3 points a day on the ES, I'd be good.
You will get there. You know what I mean? You start on the sim, and then switch to the MES, and then keep doing it on the MES, and then add some leverage, because the MES is just the or the ES is just a 10x leverage of the MES. So once you start doing it on the MES, add a couple more lots, right? That's gonna add that psychology to it, or that those emotions. You start to get comfortable with a little bit more money, and then it's really I honestly think it's 100% achievable. Just a matter of being patient. Yeah, Tommy, it's very, very slow. All right, Alex, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm still holding the long though. I'm trying to give it the gas, but I'm being really tight with it just to start to fade. Volume starting to get lighter and lighter too, which is kind of good news for the upside, because anytime we start to see pretty weak volume, typically we just start melting to the upside. So
I'm about to go make these kiddos some lunch. Catch you guys tomorrow.
all right, man. Yeah, I'm about to take off too. I gotta get some yard work done. But Bitcoin's breaking out. Let's do some levels real quick on what we're gonna watch for the rest of the day for the ES. We know this 87 level is a key level, right? They keep holding it down below that. The 77 level also, we have a mechanical low on the H low and a mechanical low on the high of H as well. Those are definitely levels to watch. I consider this a pretty mechanical level, though, selling right off the previous day's point of control. A lot of volume there. The spike above will probably act as a bit of resistance, and if it doesn't, it should see a quick move through it, right? If it's not going to act as resistance, we'll probably run right through it, and it'll probably run right up to that previous day high, which is at that 19. To the low side, if they are able to break it and you start to see some weakness throughout the rest of the market, below the 70 to 55, I really don't like any trades in here. I think this is just a chop zone. It'd be better if you just stay out of it. Once we get into the spike, I'd be looking for pullbacks to catch shorts, and then below yesterday's low, there's not a lot to catch until we get back down to that 25 level, which is the level that I'm watching on the low side. Bitcoin gets rejected off our level again, super annoying. But I mean, Bitcoin is kind of in the same boat. We're up in this upper balance, and the top of that upper balance, I would kind of say, is that 46,000, 45,000 area. Balance zones are pretty different when it comes to crypto, but that's really what I'd be looking for. I wouldn't be looking to get short. There might be some opportunity to fade back down into value, but I wouldn't be looking to get short until we get underneath this VWAP, underneath of that 42,721 really. Then you could start trying to look for it. But this weekly VWAP has been holding strong, so there's no reason to try to fight it yet until we start to establish underneath of it. Remember, with all of these, patience is going to be key, right? You've got to, there's no need to try to force your way into things. Sometimes in crypto, it's better to catch the breakout. I understand that, but if you don't have the account set up like that or haven't practiced it on a sim, don't start practicing breakouts on real money. It's just not gonna turn out great. On the ES, thing I do want to point out is we drew this top trend line. If you read the trade view, came right up to it, rejected. You guys know I love myself a nice little triangle. Well, here's another one. We broke out of a tighter one, broke out to the upside, and if we were to draw it back, it would be looking like this. So there's the breakout. So even if it comes back down and retests and holds this bottom trend line, I still consider that good for the market. I do kind of expect us to kind of chop around in here. I wouldn't be surprised even if it does start to kind of come down here, peak below that balance, and then start to head up. We're coming into earnings season too, so there could be some money coming back into the market. It looks like a lot of money's already kind of bought in, and this is where it looks like they did most of their buying. So if it comes back down into this level, I'd expect them to buy it again. This low, remember, was a news-driven low rally because they got too short, more accumulation, and then a move up. So I would expect it to come down into this area, expect these buyers to step back up. We want to see a nice response like we did today. And then the target would be the top of that 2-week balance and the top of our range, the February high. And that's more of a longer term perspective, or more medium term perspective, I would say. If we're able to break above this trend line today and hold, you know, that 45.20 and then that 45.86 could be good levels to be looking for on that upside. There we go. There's a nice little runner. Needs to get over that 93.25. You can tell people are just trying to front run that, and they're selling that F open and the prior day high are just kind of right there. So it just looks like they're making a mistake. These people that are getting short up here. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And if you need anything, definitely jump in the Discord and give me a call. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitch, jump over to the YouTube, scroll down, find that link. It's right here. We're moving Discord, so this is a different Discord. And what I recommend, and I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but the community that we're building in there is for serious people. So if you're just going to come in there and troll or post like nonsense, it's just not the space for you, right? And I'm not really going to have too much tolerance for that going forward, because the community that I want to build is people that want to build, right? People that want to build themselves up. So there's no reason to let it get like that. I'm not worried about the amount of people that are in there. I'm worried about the people that want to be successful. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't cost any money. It's free. Get in there, you know, be active. Don't be afraid to say anything. But just be respectful, right? We're a respectful bunch. I don't really get on edge unless you force me to get like that. And then it just gets ugly, right? We've seen it one time and it wasn't fun for anybody. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys all later.
Later, brother.